And we are back with Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are the rumors out there? How do we feed the rumor mill? No, it's just what are we seeing in other gardens? What are other gardeners talking about? We're not talking about the gardeners. We're talking about the gardens of the gardeners. Does that help with the rumor mill? Anyway, hi, Lisa.
Hi.
So garden questions, you got any? How are your gardens? How are your pansies growing?
My pansies? Not so well.
They're dead.
My Vinca is doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to switch over to those worm season things.
Yep. Summer love, I tell you, there's nothing you can't water. The pansies and violas on the backside in the shade, they're doing fine.
Yeah.
They're kind of hot, but they're doing fine. The ones out in the sun, they vaporized 2 weeks ago. It's just like
more than 2 weeks.
It's not worth even having them. But the Vincas, the Pentas, all that, the Lantanas. They love that.
They love the heat. Yeah. Boy, I put them in our front pots out front where it's just blazing all day sun. And they are spectacular. They just take over.
I want to know, and actually all men want to know right now over the airwaves. We're all listening. Our ears are perked up. But why is it we're going on vacation like tomorrow and you're bringing home more beauty and more garden stuff to the garden? You can barely have time to pack up the truck, much less plant another plant. And then I don't know if I can get the irrigation set in time. Why can't we just wait until after?
They already have irrigation to them, for one thing.
Okay.
And the other thing is, when I come home and I drive into my driveway, I want to go, look how much they all grew while I was gone.
You won't. When you come back, got it. You want to see 2 weeks worth of growth when you come back.
Yes.
So why can't you just buy two and put them in there and just double up when you come back and just it's stress. It's pressure packed. We're trying to get the car cleaned. Anyway. Never mind, men. We don't want to know. We just get put back in our place. It is fun to come home and see how pretty the gardens are.
It is.
I did deadhead everything. Well, I fertilized everything. So that when we come back, it would be beautiful. That's why.
There you go. We're going to drive in and we're going to go, this is why we live here. This is beautiful.
So with that, I think I need a Mountain Dew. Here we go.
I say it's not a beer, folks. We're okay. All right. Garden questions. First one is from Tom in Prescott. He wants to know if it's advisable to put on Preemergent now, or is it too late?
Oh, Tom, if you haven't done it, you got to do it. If you have done it, do it again. Just do it, Tom, do it. Yeah, Preemergents take advantage of the rain. So I put some on in our gardens and the garden center. We use probably 10, 12 bags here at the garden center, but we're dealing with acreage.
Right.
At the house, it takes a couple, 2-3 bags. A bag will cover, I think it's 7,200 square feet. So you spread it out real thin. It looks salt and peppered. You pray for rain. That pellet kind of melts down into the ground, and then it prevents any seed from sitting a taproot down into the ground. So it prevents weeds from even starting in your rock, starting next to your driveway, starting between the pavers, starting in the lawn. It just keeps the weed seed from germinating. It'll take out established weeds as long as they're just starting to come up, but it does not affect plants. It doesn't actually. So you can put it around your roses. You can put it through your flower beds. You can put it out there across the dry wash. Keep the weeds at bay over there, and it's not going to affect the trees and shrubs that are already growing. It just affects the seed that drops down. So it's good for about 4 to 6 months, then you have to reapply, especially here where the season is we have such a long growing season that you need to do it really twice a year, Tom, or audience, everyone. But we do it twice a year. And so generally we'll do it like in February, March, whenever you get that, it's thawed. You're getting the urge to garden, which means the weeds are getting the urge to grow. And so you put it out then. And then the second time you put it out there is now when the monsoons hit. So this is when all the tumbleweeds, that goat head, the one that gets the burrs, like a ground cover, you lift up the bottom, and it just has hundreds of these burrs underneath that your dogs walk over. They just start limping. That's an annual. It only comes back by seed. So you can put that on, put the weed and grass stopper down. you won't have that.
Mhm.
And so you put it on when the monsoons hit. You won't have tumbleweeds. You can just go on. Tom, yes,
Yes.
now's the time. There you go.
Short answer is yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from Sandy. She's out in Prescott Valley. She wants to know, she has a lawn, but she wants to get some tree. She wants a tree in the lawn to kind of get shade.
Yeah.
Is there a tree that would do better in a lawn situation than others?
Sure. So yeah, there are. So there's some better ones. I would say the number one seller, weeping willow. I would say stay away from willows. And the only reason, I know I'm going to get some pushback, but the roots are so shallow on that plant. It tends to be right there. You're going to trip on weeds. So it's just so shallow. It's so aggressive and so big. It's probably not as mythical as the Instagram or Pinterest feed tells you it is.
Right.
Just because 3 years from now, you're going to have huge roots you have to dig out of the lawn. It's going to ding the blade of the mower. It's just not ideal. I find that maples are far better at that. They're deeper rooted. They don't lift the lawn up, and yet they'll take that water. It's actually a tricky thing to put a tree in there that needs infrequent water, and yet you put a lawn around it that has everyday water. You need a plant that can adapt to that. I find ash does really well with that, especially Modesto, Arizonicas. That's where they naturally grow, is on those wash levels down towards the creek beds. Well, they're going to love your lawn too. It's a great choice. Another one that people don't think about, but birch. Yeah, birch is very pretty. It doesn't tend to lift things. It's got that white bark. The native variety of birch that grows here is called river birch. It's got a darker, there's one that grows next to the creek bottoms called river birch, but also its European cousin, that's the ones with the white bark, does equally as well. So birch would be another great choice. That's one, Sandy, come in, we'll kind of walk you through. And purple leaf plum, crab apples, you can go on and on and on. I would say stay away from cottonwoods, willows, sycamores. They're the ones you do a Google search. They'll tell you plant those. I've got personal experience. I can tell you that you're going to have roots lifting the lawn. You'll be tripping over them. It's kind of more maintenance than it's worth. It's pretty from a distance, but reality, you got to get underneath it, mow it, and clean it. Yeah, there's better choices.
Okay. All right. So Don would like to know: is there a good weed killer that he can use in a lawn that will not harm the lawn but get the weeds?
Yeah, there's called broadleaf weed killers. And so we've got a couple here at the garden center that work really well. And in fact, they're organic. They're iron-based. So you get some iron will stress out the weed. Let's say dandelions. It's the number one. And it stresses out the grass too, but it doesn't kill the grass. It kills the weed. So broadleaf weed killers, and there's one on the shelf. What's the name of that? Fertilome puts it out there.
Weed Free Zone. Weed
Free Zone. Thank you, my lovely assistant here, making sure I don't get the wrong name. So just kind of what?
I don't like to be called an assistant.
Assistant, my lovely wife, my dominant partner.
Dominant partner.
just poking. We have a 35th anniversary coming up. Do you remember?
True, we do.
It's like in 3 weeks.
Yes, it is.
I'm already planning. I don't have anything yet. I'm trying to figure out what to
do. For your assistant?
Yeah, I got something for my assistant. My lovely assistant. You forgot got to have a not asinine assistant. Lovely. She's lovely. Never mind. Let's end on a low note. Anyway, Ken and Lisa Lane. Who said that? Who's asking about
Dawn.
Weed killers? Dawn.
So it's weed.
Dawn, it's your
zone.
fault.
Yes.
Weed free zone. That's it. You can use that. It'll take out the weeds and leave the grass. Doesn't affect. Good on bluegrass, ryegrass, fescues, any of those grasses. Really effective this altitude. So it does really well. Probably don't use Roundup because it'll kill the grass and the weed, unless you can really be specific with it. So there's better choices. All right. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after